It starts small, the kind of small that you dismiss because dismissing things is easier than examining them. A barista who has made your order every morning for 2 years looks at you like you've never been in before, smiles the polite smile reserved for new customers, asks for your name to write on the cup. You tell yourself she's having an off day. Everyone has off days. Memory is imperfect. People get distracted. You take your coffee and you sit in your usual seat by the window, and you tell yourself it means nothing, because the alternative, that she genuinely has no recollection of you, is not something your brain is willing to hold yet. So you don't hold it. You let it go the way you let small, uncomfortable things go, which is by deciding they don't mean what they appear to mean. The second sign comes 3 days later. A colleague stops you in the hallway at work. Not someone you barely know, someone you have eaten lunch with twice a week for 8 months. Someone who knows your coffee order and the name of your sister and the story about the time you got lost in a city you'd lived in for 5 years. Someone who, by any reasonable measure, knows you. He introduces himself, extends his hand, tells you his name, asks how long you've been with the company. You shake his hand, you say your own name back to him, and you watch his face for the flicker of recognition that doesn't come. Not a delayed flicker, not a slow one, nothing. A complete absence where something should be. You start paying attention after that. Really paying attention, the kind that turns ordinary interactions into data points, that makes you notice things you would normally let slide past. And what you notice is this. Every person you encounter is encountering you for the first time. Not metaphorically, not in the way that people sometimes seem distracted or disengaged. Literally, completely, as if the version of you that existed in their memory was quietly deleted sometime between your last meeting and this one. Wiped clean, no residue, the messages are still there. You can see them, your name in conversations, your words in threads, your history documented in text. But the people who sent those messages look at you now like reading a letter from someone they've never met. You test it carefully at first. You mention shared memories in conversation, obliquely, the way you'd reference something anyone would know. Nothing. You bring up the lunch, the story, the coffee order, polite confusion. You show someone a photo of the two of you together at an event from 6 months ago and watch them study it with the careful attention of someone looking at a photograph of a stranger. They see themselves. They don't see you. Or rather, they see a person standing next to them, but the person doesn't connect to anything. No name, no context, no feeling of recognition at all. You exist in the photograph. You just don't exist in their mind. You spend a week trying to explain it. Medical causes first. Some kind of prosopagnosia, a condition that makes faces unrecognizable. But prosopagnosia affects the person who has it, and every single person around you would have to develop it simultaneously for that to account for what's happening. That's not a medical condition. That's something else entirely. Mass suggestion. Some kind of shared psychological event. Also no, the people forgetting you don't know each other. They're not connected. They span different cities, different contexts, different lives that intersect only in the fact that they've all met you. A dream. You consider it seriously for 2 full days. You pinch yourself in the obvious way, and then in less obvious ways, you burn your hands slightly on the stove on purpose just to feel something sharp and real and undeniable. It's not a dream. You are awake. The world is real. And in this real world, you leave no impression on anyone who encounters you. They see you, speak to you, interact with you, and then you're gone. Not from their sight, from their memory. Completely and immediately and without trace. Like you were never there at all. Here is what nobody tells you about being forgotten. It isn't like being invisible. Invisible would be easier. Invisible means people walk through you, don't see you, don't register your presence. You could make peace with invisible. Invisible is clean and complete and at least internally consistent. This is something worse. People see you. They respond to you. They hold doors open and step aside on pavements and make eye contact and smile the brief smiles of strangers passing each other in a shared space. They interact with you as a human being in every way that counts in the moment. And then you're gone. Not later. Not after they sleep and the memory fades the way memories normally fade. Almost immediately. You can watch it happen if you're paying attention. There's a window of maybe a few minutes where something of you lingers, and then it closes. You can see the moment it closes in their eyes. Something shifts. You become, to them, just the ambient background of a day they're already forgetting. You are the noise between the parts of their life that matter. You try to explain this feeling to someone once. A stranger in a waiting room who spoke to you first, which felt significant, like reaching for you rather than being reached for, would make the forgetting slower. You told them something true about yourself, something specific, the kind of detail that sticks. They forgot it before you finished the sentence. The question that comes eventually is not how. You've made peace with not knowing how. The mechanism of it, the neuroscience or the metaphysics or whatever force of the universe decided that you would move through the world without leaving marks, that question has stopped feeling urgent. You can't answer it. You've accepted that you probably never will. The question that comes eventually is, does it matter? You exist. You know you exist. You wake up every morning with the full continuity of your own life intact. Your memories, your history, your sense of who you are and how you got here. Nothing about your experience of yourself has changed. You remember everything. You are the only one who does, but you do. And every morning the world resets for everyone else. So does it matter that nobody carries you with them? Does the fact of your existence require a witness to be real? If you live a full life, if you feel things and think things and make decisions and move through days that feel meaningful from the inside, does it count for less because no one will remember it? You don't have an answer. You're not sure anyone would. Here's what you find, slowly, without meaning to. You start paying attention differently. When you know that an interaction will leave no trace in the other person, when you know they will not carry you forward, something changes in how you show up for it. You stop performing. You stop managing the impression you're making because there is no impression to manage. You stop editing yourself in real time based on how you think you're landing. You just exist in the conversation, fully and without calculation. And the conversations are better. Not for them, they won't remember anyway. But for you, you ask the questions you actually want to ask, instead of the questions that seem appropriate. You say the things you actually think, instead of the things that will make you seem a certain way. You listen without planning your response, because there is no social consequence to the response either way. You become, accidentally, the most honest version of yourself. In a life with no witnesses, you stop lying. The hardest part isn't being forgotten by strangers. Strangers were always going to forget you. Most people forget most strangers within hours. The gap between what you experience now and what you experienced before is smaller there than you'd expect. The hardest part is the people who should remember. Your family. The people who loved you before whatever this is started happening. You can see in their faces that something about you registers differently than a complete stranger, some echo of familiarity without the content to fill it. Like a word you know but can't retrieve. They are kind to you. They are warm. They just don't know why. You stand outside that door sometimes without knocking, not because you don't want to go in, because going in means watching people who once knew you completely try to place you, the effort of it on their faces, the slight apologetic confusion in their eyes, the way they are so genuinely trying and still coming up empty. And that is the version of this that costs the most. That is the one that takes something from you every time. You go back to the coffee shop. You order the same thing you always order. She asks for your name for the cup. You tell her. She writes it down and calls it when it's ready. And you take it to the window seat and you drink it while the morning happens around you. Nobody here knows you. Nobody here will remember this tomorrow. But you will. You will remember the exact temperature of the coffee and the specific angle of the morning light and the sound of the street outside and the feeling of existing in a moment that belongs entirely to you because you are the only one keeping it. You will carry this Tuesday forward into every day after it. You will be its only witness and its only record, and somehow that will have to be enough. You are the only record of your own life, and somewhere in that, in the strange, lonely, specific fact of being your own only witness, you find something you didn't expect to find. It's enough. Not perfect. Not what you would have chosen, but enough. You exist. You remember. You are here. For now, that is the whole of it.